What's going on, Doe fam? Back with another video. Hope you guys have been doing well. For today's video, going to do some Bitcoin market analysis as well as for Ethereum. We had some nice dumps across the board the past 2 days, with liquidations actually hitting yesterday over $900 million. We're finally seeing it reset. The long-short ratio has actually reset quite nicely, because yesterday we actually hit a near 6% delta, which just means really expect a rebalance and expect a bounce in the charts, because I've always told you guys, look, once it gets past 3% and once liquidations get above 750 mil, do expect a rebound. We've just seen that rebound, but the question is this the recovery? Is this the time where we actually make new all-time highs and make new higher highs and higher lows? Without further ado, I'm Dope Oxide. I make content on YouTube, X, and CoinMarketCap. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. First of all, for liquidations have gone down quite a bit, because as you guys can see yesterday, we had a massive long liquidation flush, $818 million, but yesterday morning it was actually over 900 mil, which is really good to see, because that just means the market is resetting. And just something interesting to note is we're back to neutral levels, and this just shows that the market sentiment is getting completely reset. And to be honest, when it comes to the comments on my YouTube videos as of recent, it just seems like people have lost a lot of patience and hope, which is really good to see, because you want to see the majority flipping bearish here. Because really, like, how can you be bearish when all you have to do is zoom out and see what the progress we've made on Bitcoin since pretty much the last 2 years? Like, we've been pretty much up only for throughout the bull market, and really the trend has not changed. More than likely, we are going to make new highs and new lows, because the charts have not broken down yet, and there is zero reason to actually be bearish. If you're bearish, you're probably listening to the noise, you're listening to the news, and of course, you're not going to make it if that is the case. But next up is the liquidation heat map. And the liquidation heat map, look, it's actually looking really spicy as it stands right now. We're having so many liquidations getting picked up at these levels. And if you actually count for each level, like, it's actually looking like over $1 billion can get liquidated if Bitcoin actually hits 120K. So if I just look here, like 116, 102, 80, 112, 120, 126, like, it's well over $1 billion in short liquidations. And that just tells us once we get anywhere close to those levels, around the 116K level, I really do think the bottom is in and the trend will reverse to the upside. Next up is the Ethereum liquidations. Same thing, we're getting a lot of liquidations getting built above us, and this just tells us the market has been reset, sentiment has been reset, and more than likely pain is to the upside. Next up is Ethereum to Bitcoin. As you guys can see, we had a bit of a scam wick to the upside, and let me just delete these lines. So yeah, we had a bit of a scam wick to the upside, and we're broken down, and we're sitting below that major inverse parabolic trend line I've been telling you guys to note about. And once again, we tested resistance, we broke through, but we couldn't stay above it, and now we're testing at resistance once again. And really, we want to see a break above it and nice consolidation, then another move to the upside, because that will tell us Ethereum is breaking up to new highs, and more than likely will actually make a successful all-time high break. Because of course, a few days ago, Ethereum actually hit all-time high. It hit 49.40, and of course that was very bullish for our altcoins. But we need to see Ethereum actually hold the new all-time highs and actually stay in price discovery. Because if I zoom out, we're actually not in price discovery as of yet. We're just really grinding at the all-time highs, which is really good to see, because that just means Ethereum is buying into the supply at these levels. Because of course, back in 2021, a lot of these buyers are still bag holding, and they're more than likely actually breaking even at these prices. So it might just take a bit of time to actually consolidate and actually buy through this supply, so we can actually make new all-time highs and actually go well into price discovery, which will of course mean that base native token assets like TOSHI, Alien Base, etc. can make new highs. Next up is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is looking pretty good right now. We've seen that bounce, and really we don't want to go any lower than this, because that just tells me for the short term at least, we're probably going to be breaking trend. But we'll show you some charts later in the video that shows us we're probably going to be bouncing from here. And really, my opinion is, of course, none of this financial advice is, it's just my opinion, but I really do think that September will have all-time highs, and we'll be making new, fresh, higher highs and higher lows. To me, the sentiment has been reset enough, and I really do think that with the charts I'm showing you guys later in this video, you guys will be convinced that we will more than likely make all-time highs. Next up is Total 3. Really, Total 3 is actually like one of the more steady charts. It's just really just stabilizing, consolidating sideways. Nothing to be said here. There really is no trend change at all. Like, it's pretty interesting to see the Total 3 technically looks healthier than Bitcoin as it stands right now. Bitcoin has been making lower highs and lower lows, whilst total 3 is just consolidating sideways. Next up is stock market. Stock market actually looks like it wants to make an all-time high this week. As you guys can see, we're grinding back in all-time high territory once again. And I will not be surprised that all-time high break actually happens at the end of this week, which will of course help our risk on assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. Next up is the Fed Watch tool. Interestingly, we're actually seeing the Fed rate probabilities of a rate cut actually increase. We're sitting at 87%, and I've told you guys, once we see above 90%, it looks like basically a guarantee of this rate cut to happen. So if this actually holds out, I do think September would be the month of front-running these rate cuts, and more than likely all-time highs will occur. But next up is tweets. First tweet by Super Bitcoin Bro, which is so bullish. Potentially bullish falling wedge within the megaphone. Clear megaphone pattern. Megaphone pattern targets are absolutely monstrous. And really, this just tells me with his falling wedge, we're probably going to break above soon, have a little retest, even, and break up to the upside for September, where we can actually have an explosive rally for October. Next up is by crypto. All-season signal flashing again, specifically for Ethereum to Bitcoin. Because to be honest, when it comes to altcoin season, it does take a bit longer. Like, we can't expect altcoin season to happen just as when Ethereum to Bitcoin starts reversing. But nonetheless, this is early signs of an altcoin season. We're having the MACD flipping positive. We're having the RSI starting to flip positive as well. So I would not be surprised in the next few months we have a full-blown alt season. But this is just telling us really Ethereum to Bitcoin is in its early days of a rally. And don't be surprised, it has massive daily and monthly candles to the upside. And Ethereum actually makes more than 20% gain compared to Bitcoin from these current prices. Next up is income sharks. Ethereum to Bitcoin doesn't need TA all lines. It's just super bullish. As you guys can see, higher highs, higher lows. And really, there's no need to be bearish on Ethereum as it stands right now. The trend is up, and the trend is your friend till the end. And there is zero reason to actually be bearish on Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And to be honest, if you're bullish on Ethereum to Bitcoin, you should also be bullish on base native token assets, because TOSHI, alien base, etc., and all other base native tokens are high betas of Ethereum. And really, as long as Ethereum holds its trend, keeps gaining strength against Bitcoin, you can expect our base native token assets to keep on pumping. Next way is by income sharks. Once again, Ethereum, even if you missed the low entries and missed the rally, it was nice enough to give two major obvious buy zones, both shared in advance too. I can't believe it was nice enough again to give another running back to new all-time highs. So, of course, when it comes to higher lows and higher highs for Ethereum, it's looking so bullish. Ethereum is really just going up slowly, and we want that. Like, we want this supply to be taken out. We're just having a nice consolidation here. And in September, if we do see that breakout of the 4,900 key region, I think that really will be the last time we see 4,900 for Ethereum for the remainder of its bull cycle. Of course, for bear market, we'll just have to see where Ethereum actually tops. But it's looking really good for Ethereum. We're just consolidating here and really just weeding out all the bad sentiment because, like I said before, like my comments recently have been quite bearish. And it just shows to me the sentiment has been absolutely destroyed. And Bitcoin really likes to destroy the sentiment. Because, of course, the majority tends to usually be wrong. And as long as the majority is wrong, we're probably going to make newer highs and higher lows. Because as it stands, the majority seems just to be bearish right now. And that just shows on the Fear and Greed Index. The Fear and Greed Index only shows that the majority is actually neutral. And we actually had a fearful reading last week, which is quite bullish in my opinion. Final tweet is by Astronomer. So many will miss the bottom. And Bitcoin, for at least, Astronomer really thinks that Bitcoin's bottom is in. And Astronomer really thinks the Bitcoin bottom is in because the hash ribbon actually printed a buy last month. No one has really been talking about it for this hash ribbon buy signal. And really, every time the hash ribbon buy signal gets printed, as you guys can see, a consolidation or dip occurs, and then we can pump to the upside. So we had that buy signal, dip, pump. Buy signal, consolidation, pump. Another buy signal. Now we've had that dip and we're looking for that pump to the upside, which will more than likely happen in September. But that's all to the video, guys. If you guys like the video, like and subscribe. Exciting times because really once Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, look, the sky is the limit. We're probably going to head to that 150k key region I've been telling you guys about, which has always been our doubling target. And with that, Ethereum will more than likely make new all-time highs, which will of course carry our base native token assets like TOSHI, Alien Base, etc. But that's all to the video, guys. Have a good one. Have a good day. Peace.